So I've got Downsizing, which was a great concept and a terrible execution. The idea was that people shrink themselves down to an eighth their size because that way you're reducing your impact on the environment and overpopulation, but not really. And then also you become much richer because your money is worth more because it doesn't cost as much to live around you.
I love this concept.
Yes, great concept. Interesting, like basically sci-fi, right? Horrible execution. I am so tired of seeing Matt Damon in these white savior roles. Like after Suburbicon and this, I'm done with Matt Damon. Like I just can't watch him in movies anymore. I think he needs to retire. But he plays this character who's just kind of an average regular guy who works in a meat processing plant as occupational or physical therapist, some sort of variation on that where basically you're not a doctor, but you can kind of help fix people's on-the-job injuries. So he decides to downsize and then zany things happen, which I won't spoil just in case you decide to ignore my warning and go see it anyway. But he does meet his upstairs neighbor when he downsizes. Is Christoph Waltz, who's a great actor and kind of his weird, zany, over-the-top European self in this. He's an exotic importer in this tiny downsizing community.
What does that mean?
I mean, you know, it's like any sort of exotic importer. You bring in the things that aren't naturally available in your environment, maybe illegally, very illegally.
Are we talking about tiny drugs?
Tiny like drugs, but it's also fun. It's funny because it's like tiny other things. Like they have a full-sized flower in this thing because they're tiny. It's like hard to bring into their like community. Sure. And so that counts as like an exotic import. So it's interesting seeing the juxtaposition of what would be considered, you know, challenging to have as a tiny 1/8 the size person.
Yeah, cool.
I saw a clip where they had a full-size bottle of vodka, which would be like
you could fill a party, like you could like have hundreds and hundreds of people off that one bottle service. So again, great concept, terrible execution. So he has Christoph Waltz as his upstairs neighbor, and then he meets this woman played by Hong Chau, who is like a cleaning woman, basically, which is an unfortunate racial stereotype. So the whole point is, yes, it's supposed to be this idyllic, like you downsize and you move to these beautiful communities, but there are still issues. She's someone who was punished, like they were downsized as punishment. It was used as like political torture, essentially, because you can't reverse the process. So I was like, okay. So there are a lot of great themes that started to scratch the surface in this movie, and none of them came to fruition. And an hour in, it was halfway through the movie, and I was like, what's the point of this movie? Like, everything I just described is the first hour of the movie, and it's all in the trailers. And for once, I don't think it's the trailer editor's fault that, like, they gave away too much. There's just nothing to show. So that's, like, the whole movie continues like that. And then, basically, like, Hong Chau's character takes him to the slums of downsizing land, and he becomes this like white savior with his minimal medical skills. And I'm just like, really
curing leprosy with
like basically, you know, it's like he's like, oh well, they should take this for like their injury and this and that, and it's like this woman has cancer, she should take that. It's like that dude would not know that. He wouldn't know that. I'm sorry, there's no way he would know that.
I mean, Google though.
Tiny Google, yeah, maybe. But then like, why would he have the drug? He doesn't Google it. He just like knows. So
I could recommend some cures for cancer. I wouldn't say you should take them, but I could recommend them.
Okay, sure. Like, but again, they all like take it as you know, law, and they're like, yes, this is the same as like a doctor recommending this. So I was just really frustrated by the complete sort of lack of logic and just everyone ignoring the fact that he's not qualified for this. And yes, I get that like some help is better than no help, but are we really saying that also only a white guy could do this? Like it was just poorly executed, and I'm really disappointed because Alexander Payne, who wrote and directed it, has had some great movies. He's also had some flops. Just fun fact, he wrote I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, which was one of the worst movies ever, like of all time. It was that Adam Sandler, Kevin James, thank you, fake getting married. And I'm just like, oh, hit and miss, bro. And this is like in the miss category for me. So I'm only going to give it 1.7 out of 5.
Okay. Fair enough. Right. Skip downsizing.
Yeah, skip it. I just don't think it's worth your time. And if it could have had so much potential. That's the other frustrating thing.
The good news is the new Jumanji is coming out, and it's gotten really good reviews, right? What did you think?
Not the greatest thing I've ever seen. And it's not the original Jumanji, but in terms of like things that, you know, you can compromise on, and I think everyone will find something to enjoy in, it hits that metric, which like Downsizing doesn't. A lot of the other films that came out over the holiday don't. So, you know, it was relatively fun. Do we need a sequel to Jumanji? No, absolutely not. But is it fine that they did? I guess they didn't really like mess it up, so that's a low bar, but great. And the idea is like now they are in a video game. They're stuck in a video game. And my biggest question out of this film was like, what magical power was like, okay, I'm going to make a cursed board game. It's like, okay, I'm going to go back to school, learn how to program, and make a cursed video game. Yeah. Like, there's no logic to it, but it's Jumanji. Sure, why not?
And this one, I understand remaking it because the kids that love Jumanji are adults now.
Yes.
And they want to take their kids to see Jumanji. Jumanji, and rest in peace, Robin Williams, because he killed it and no one's ever going to top him.
Right. And that's my thing. I didn't really feel a sense of nostalgia watching this. There were like 2 moments where I was like, that's in the original. Okay, that's it. But in terms of sort of adaptations and taking a concept and like a little bit making it their own, I thought they did well because of the video game stuff. I thought they integrated kind of the like explaining a video game, how it would work pretty well. And I love the cast. Like I love The Rock more than anything. Kevin Hart's fine. I get annoyed by Kevin Hart. Jack Black is in it. Jack Black is probably one of the funnier parts because he's playing the girl who is playing his character is like a teenage selfie obsessed girl, and so Jack Black is basically it's these adult actors playing these like teenage personas, and so Jack Black has to play this girl and is like interested to be in a male body, and so there's a lot of humor out of that. And then Karen Gillan's in it, and that was bizarre because she makes all these jokes about how like on video games women characters like rarely are dressed appropriately for their environment. I'm like, yeah, call it out. And then she's like, can I have a jacket? I feel naked. I'm like, yes, wear clothes. And then she ties it around her waist, and like I'm like, that's not covering anything. You've just defeated the purpose of this. So they tried, they missed in some places. The first hour is fun because it's sort of getting stuck into the game. It's a little Breakfast Clubby for the first hour, actually. Like, oh, they're misfits. Oh, they don't like each other. Oh, this is, they're stuck in detention together. Can we get more original with this? And then they get sucked into the game. And then the game part of it is like the intro is fun. And then the adventure part is like, meh, it's just your average adventure movie. There was nothing super special about it. There was nothing Jumanji-y about it. Like, I didn't feel like there was like a, they like roll the dice or anything like that. Like, I didn't feel like that part was integrated into this, which was a little bizarre. And then Nick Jonas shows up as the Robin Williams character. He's the one who's been stuck in the game forever. And I was like, Nick Jonas does not a Robin Williams make.
Yeah, what the hell?
He tries, and it's fine. And they're not trying to be exactly Robin Williams, but I was like, oh, that makes me sad. Like, I miss Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So overall, I think it's fine. You're not gonna remember it the same way you remember Jumanji. It's not gonna hit like the cultural zeitgeist like that. But it's a fun film. Have like a good time. It's a very good popcorn movie. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, awesome. So see Jumanji, skip Downsizing. There you
Yes.
go.